Okay, hi, welcome to episode 20 of the Wokeish podcast. This is Eboni.
And this is Zelma.
And this week we actually have something pretty fun that we're doing. So in honor of episode 20, we're going to do 20 questions in our What's Being Slept On segment. But before we get there, we are going to start with our shout-out segment.
Yes, and so the first shout-out goes to the anti-bait shoe sting. And it was something that I saw on Instagram because I follow Sean King, and he always posts like really great things about things that we should pay attention to. And so first he initially posted about how they did like this shoe sting where they brought a van full of shoes. It was part of the Norfolk Southern Railroad organized this sting with assistance from the Chicago Police Department, and their efforts were aimed at combating thefts from the rail yard. So I don't know how like the shoes fit in with that, but they, were basically baiting people to come get the shoes, and then they were arresting them. And it got a lot of backlash. Some people saying, well, they were breaking the law, they should have gotten arrested, but other people saying, well, it's entrapment, like you're taking advantage of this specific area where people are lower income. And so eventually the railroad company apologized, and prosecutors dropped charges against 3 people arrested during the sting. What I thought was cool is, aside from them, going back and apologizing and not pressing charges, was that rapper Vic Mensa did this Save Money, Save Life Foundation, and he gave away shoes. I think they gave away close to 7,000 pairs of shoes in the Inglewood neighborhood, the Chicago Sun-Times reported. And so the event came after the sting, and so it was really cool. They showed videos of like little kids, because it was mostly little kids, like getting these free shoes. And so just kind of, and what was cool is it was like crowd raised, so a lot of people on the internet were mad about the sting and responded by donating money and donating shoes. And they were like really nice shoes. And so shout out to rapper Vic Mensa, shout out to Sean King for helping, put the word out there, and, just kind of turning a really aggravating story into a story where we can step in and help in our own communities and try to make something better and improve. So shout out, definitely.
Yeah, apparently people are talking about Sean King as our generation's MLK.
Yeah, no, he even said on his Instagram that when he was in college, people told him he was going to be the next Martin Luther King.
Really? That's dope. That's super dope. Okay, so the second shout out goes to Andrew Gillum, who won the Democratic bid for the Florida governor. Andrew Gillum was expected by many to be and also ran in Florida's Democratic gubernational primary. Now, despite being heavily outspent by his better-known centrist rivals, the 39-year-old Tallahassee mayor is his party's nominee. Apparently, he's the only non-millionaire running.
Wow.
Yeah. Gillum would be Florida's first black governor if elected in November. He is also the son of a bus driver and has 3 young children. He's the second African-American candidate for governor in the region this year. I actually, earlier this week, I was following a lot of the stuff on social media about him, and apparently a lot of Floridians were saying that they had never heard of him, but then it started coming out that that's because everybody else outspent him. That was what they relied on for their campaign. Not necessarily the strength of their platform, but how much money they could afford to spend to get themselves in front of people's faces. And so Puff Daddy actually posted, or P. Diddy, or
Whatever
Brotherly Love, whatever. He posted on his Instagram page asking people to vote for him so that he could become the first black Florida governor. And people were kind of outraged, and they were saying oh, this is so racist, and you want us to vote for somebody just because they're black, and da-da-da-da-da. And so actually I was, one of the questions that kind of brought up to me, or for me, is, is it wrong as a person of color to support someone, I think in part because of their race? So obviously it's if it, say for instance, it comes down to two candidates, right? They're both, they both have super awesome platforms and all of that. If one happens to be a minority and that is what wins you over, like, is that okay? To be like, I'm gonna go with this person because, like, and not only are they a minority, but he would make history, like, as the first.
Wow.
And I think that it paves the way for people who are coming behind him. So I think it just means so much more than simply him being a black man. It's like what that encompasses reaches far beyond him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying before we started recording, like you just have to bring up Trump. Like, Trump wasn't elected because he had the experience, because he was well spoken, because he was the most, he was the best candidate. People voted for him either because he was a man, or because he was white, or because he was Republican, or because all three. And so I think that if you, I don't know, I personally lots of times do vote for someone based on their minority status. And that's because as a minority, I know that we don't get a lot of opportunities. And even the fact that there hasn't been a black governor in this history of Florida, and we're in 2018. And so, I know that research shows, people tend to align with and be more comfortable with people in their own race. And so, white people do this all the time. White people hire people, and sometimes it's subconscious, sometimes it's intentional. But if someone says that I don't, even think about gender, think about someone from the same country as you, someone from the same neighborhood, people hire people who went to the same high school, same college, if we can see that happening in those instances, and race is such an important part that shapes our beliefs, how could we not think that plays a part? So I don't know, I think that, like we were saying, if the person's qualified and it's between two people, then I think that it's unrealistic to not think that some people will lean towards one to support someone maybe that, he comes from a similar background as me, being, his dad was a bus driver, and I'd have more in common with him than I do a millionaire. So yeah, I'd vote for that person.
Yeah.
But, if they're qualified and they're from my same racial ethnic group and I want to vote for that person because we're more similar, then it's like, if you, I don't know, maybe it is not right all the time, but...
Yeah, definitely not if they're, like, a terrible candidate. It's not like, Okay, for instance, if Trump was a black man, would I have voted for him? No.
Yeah.
And so it's, taking everything into account. And one of the major components of Gillum's platform is to repeal Stand Your Ground, which... It's like, not only is he a black man, but then he also has interests and intentions that would specifically help the black community who is struggling to understand your ground,
Yeah.
And so, whatever. All that to say, I do think that black people should come out in droves and vote for him in November.
Because if you don't think that white people aren't about to come out in droves because of black
and vote
man,
against
because of black man,
yes.
then you're also kidding yourself.
Yes.
So I think we have to be realistic on both sides. So for the white people or the people of color that are like, I'm not going to vote for them just because he's black, it's like, okay, well then there's going to be lots of people who are going to vote against him just because he's black. So what do you want?
Exactly.
Do you want a racist person to be your governor? Or
just because you wanted to prove a point.
Yeah, and especially if you're endorsed by Trump, no thank you.
Yeah. And
the person he's running against is, so.
Yeah. And he's endorsed by Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, so,
yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so our last shout out, real quick, goes to Serena Williams. As a lot of y'all may have heard, whoever runs the French Open told her that she couldn't wear her catsuit.
White people.
Yeah, no, they were definitely white. I just don't know what their role, what their title is. But they told her that she couldn't wear her catsuit, and it was. They were saying that it wasn't appropriate, and it wasn't conservative enough, and all this stuff. And it was like, and it's like this catsuit covers her from neck to like ankle.
It's better than those little short skirts. I was so upset about that, especially because it was Wakanda inspired. It was her.
It's like a personal, like really unique, like a what do you call it? Like Nike made it just for her. But Serena Williams, being who she is, shout out to Compton, decided to come out in a tutu instead.
Yeah, I saw that.
She came and smashed in her black tutu.
Yeah.
So I just felt like, I don't know, it was just like a ton of black girl magic. It's like, you know what, I'm going to come out and do you one better. Since y'all are so worried about my butt, it's going to be out. How about that?
Like making a statement without having to use words.
Yeah.
So it was really powerful. Yeah, so shout out to Serena for being, handling it a lot better than I would have, and I would have worn like every other, worn the same catsuit again.
Yeah, and they're trying
worn it to dinner, worn it
they're trying to throw her off her game, but she didn't come to play.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps up our shout out segment. Now we are going to jump into our In the Know segment. For our In the Know segment, so first thing is I just wanted to give I'm so conflicted about this. So kind of a shout out to California a little bit, who is moving forward with ending the cash bail bond program. And so essentially what this would do is that it would make it so that you couldn't just get out on bail by paying that, like, I think 10%, or whatever, and like get out on bail, and which creates a lot of inequality between those who have money and those who don't. And so it also creates like a lot of, so in addition to class inequality, racial inequality, because those who tend to be lower income are people of color. And so if you remember, like, for instance, the Khalif Browder story, the reason that he ended up in jail for 3 years is because his mom couldn't come up with the money to pay his bail. And so California is responding to this issue this disparity in terms of people that can afford bail by getting rid of the program in general. And then they're also going to have apparently tiers where it's like low risk, or like minimal risk, low risk, and high risk, or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but there are like 3 tiers or something like that. And so it's like if you're like super high, risk, or super low risk actually, then it's like, oh, you wouldn't have to necessarily stay in jail forever. But I've been seeing a lot of people, saying that, but they should have maybe made it so that this was based on income, so that people that didn't have money didn't have to sit in jail because of that fact. But for people that have money, they shouldn't just be able to get out of jail and not have to pay anything. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. At first, when I saw the announcement, I was like super on board. I was like, yeah, that's gonna fix a lot of the issues and disparities that we see in terms of people that have to sit in jail until their court date because they can't afford bail. But I didn't really consider how it could also end up saving wealthy people money.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I guess we'll see how that unfolds. I don't know. I have faith in my home state, so I'm hoping that.
At least they're trying to figure out ways to. That's what you got to do sometimes. Just change things so that you can see what works and what doesn't, and hopefully, if it doesn't work, then we can learn from it and figure out the next step. But I think that at least addressing the fact that there's such differences in income and the impact that has on how long you stay in jail is a step.
Yeah, agreed.
And so our second In the Know story is about the Dallas jury conviction of ex-cop Roy Oliver, who was convicted of murder for an unarmed black teen who's 15-year-old Jordan Edwards. And I don't know if you remember this story, but there was like a house party, and people were saying that it was really, I think maybe neighbors called, but the police were called saying that there was underage drinking and that there was a large party going on. It turns out it wasn't even a rowdy party at all, but in a nearby parking lot, some people were shooting like a gun in the air. And so the police, of course, assumed that this was coming from the party. And so there was Roy Oliver and his partner were kind of outside around the car where Jordan Edwards was with a couple other people, including his brother. And Roy Oliver at first claimed that the car was going to run over his partner, and so he responded out of fear for his partner's life by shooting like 5 shots into the car, one of which, fatally injured Jordan, and he like died. And later, through the body cam, we learned that the car wasn't backing, that it was actually going forward and driving really slowly away. So yes, the car was driving away from the police, but it wasn't.
As it always is.
Yeah, but it wasn't. And remember, they're teenagers. They're 15. They don't have. Your brain isn't developed until you're 25, and so sometimes in that instance you don't always make the best choice, but regardless of whether they were making the best choice or not, it didn't warrant 5 shots inside the car, and thankfully the jury agreed, and they found him guilty. And so his dad, they showed videos of like his family and his civil rights lawyer, like their response to it, and so they said that they're like, it's not just about Jordan Edwards, it's about Tamir Rice, it's about Walter Scott, it's about Alton Sterling, it's about every African American, unarmed African American who has been killed and who has not gotten justice. And so I was reading up on it today because they did the sentencing on Wednesday, and he got 15 years. So people wanted, people on Jordan's side wanted 60 years, and people on the ex-cop side wanted 20 years. So he got 15.
Wait, on the former cop side? Wanted him to do 20 years?
Yeah, his lawyer was like, no, like he should only do 20, and he got 15. It's incredible to me because you rarely see a cop. What was significant about this case is that it was a cop on duty. And so you rarely see a shooting occurring while the cop was on duty, resulting in a murder conviction. And, Jordan Edwards, his family, his friends, he was a football player at the high school, his coach, his teammates were all really rallying over and supporting. And so they said that what was really interesting about the courtroom is that everyone was there for Jordan, and not many people were there for the ex-cop, Roy.
Why would they be?
Even though the union...
He lied.
The police union... the police union, sent out messages saying, come support your fellow brother, but just... Shout out to the Dallas jury who, was able to look past the fact that the bias I think that there is to always side with law enforcement. Mm-hmm. And then shout out to...
Especially in Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas, Texas. Yeah, and then shout out to his family for not giving up and for being persistent and for wanting justice, because there's lots of people who would just say, give up. Why would you want to... no one has gotten a murder conviction. Mm-hmm. But for the father in that moment to take it, to use that moment to reflect on the other unarmed black man that had been shot and be like, this is for them too, I thought was really wonderful. And it's sad that Jordan Edwards is dead. He was 15 and he could have done a lot, but there's some justice for him, and at least for 15 years, Roy Oliver's going to have to sit in his cell and, think about what he did and how he, 15 years for him is the same amount of time that Jordan Edwards was alive on this earth. So, at least, every
that
year.
Time will go by a lot slower for him than it did for Jordan.
And I think it will. A lot of people say 15 years isn't a lot, but in jail, 15 years can definitely add up. So.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's the 15 years is not satisfying, I'm glad that it's progress has been very slow, but I'm glad that it's being made.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna transition into our What's Being Slept On segment.
Yes.
So I strongly suggest that you wake the fuck up.
Okay, so now for our What's Being Slept On segment, So again, we are gonna play 20 questions. Zelma and I have put together a list. So hopefully this will be interesting.
Yeah.
You wanna go first? Or?
Sure. So our first question we're gonna ask each other is, what has been your most embarrassing moment so far?
Okay. Oh my goodness. Actually, I just thought of one. Ooh, I think I tried to block it out. Actually, I think I have blocked most of it out. But basically, I think I was in middle school, maybe 8th grade. And middle school is trash. But we were going on, I hope none of the people that were with me on this trip listen to this. But we were on, I want to say a college tour or something. And I was doing this hip bump with one of the girls that was also on the trip. And I was, I'm pretty shy now, but I was a super meek kid. And so I don't remember how this hip bump started, but she was kind of a cooler kid, and she was kind of a bully. Mm-hmm. So we were doing this hip bump, totally playing around, and then she just bumps me hella hard, and I fly into the bushes.
Aww.
And I can't remember, I don't remember the process of flying into the bushes. I just remember getting out of the bushes and being oh,
people laugh.
Yes. Rough. Yeah, it was pretty rough. And I think I ended up, because I blacked it out, I can't even remember who the girl was, but I know that some of those people on the trip, I ended up going to high school or college with them. And I don't know if they remember me by then. We never had a conversation about it, but yeah. What about you?
Mine is from 3rd grade, and it's oh gosh, even thinking about it makes me feel terrible. But it was in the cafeteria, and I had on a spaghetti strap, which we weren't allowed to have. So I had a little shoulder cover for it. And then I just remember sitting down, and it was 2 guys and 2 girls, and I was sitting there, and I was guess what I have? And I wanted to show them my spaghetti strap. But
this is 3rd grade?
Yeah, so I'm not developed yet, which makes the story better, I guess, for me. But I didn't know that my dress had shifted, and so my nipple was completely out. So I opened it, and you could just see one of my nipples, and it was so embarrassing. And then they just laughed so.
So you were
hard.
9?
Yeah.
Oh, you was being fast. You look at what I got.
And I know, as thinking back, I was I'm such a loser. Why would they care about my spaghetti strap? And 2,
it was against the rules. And at 9, that is popping.
Every once in a while, I think about that moment, and I'm so glad it's not happening right now. But it was very traumatizing. It
was pre-boobs. So
yeah. It was very traumatizing.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, okay. Okay, so the second question, what is your favorite memory so far?
I think for me, it's a Christmas in Mexico before my grandpa died. Mm-hmm. And we just, there's a lady who lived in front of where my grandpa lived that would make these really great enchiladas, and we would go and, she would sell them, and we would go and we would buy them. I think it was Christmas Eve, and for Mexico on Christmas Eve you have posadas, which is where you go to different people's houses and you have a million parties, because at every house you have a party. Mm-hmm. And so I just remember seeing people out doing the posadas, mm-hmm. and us just eating at my grandpa's house, and so that's just a memory I always like to think about. That's very important and has been really good.
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel my favorite memories have to do with family too. So for before I moved here for grad school, every holiday we spent at my grandma's house, everybody would come, and we would have, there's this game called Gestures, that we played every holiday. And it would get crazy competitive, yelling at the top of our lungs. I actually remember, one of the really, so basically Gestures is kind of what is the other game where you have a word and you act it out?
Charades?
And then the person has to guess. I think it's charades, yeah. Or what's taboo? It's one of those. It's similar to one of those. But I remember, I want to say I was 13, or maybe 13 or 14. and the word on my card was old.
Mm.
And I was trying to get my team to guess, so I like did like a little old people walk and then pointed at my grandma.
Oh, no.
And everybody fell out. And my grandma was just like, it was hilarious. She was like, I am not old. You just keep a living. Yeah,
That's funny.
so that was playing charades with my family in general is like, you know, those memories go back years. But so those are some of my favorite memories. But then that particular game, like my grandma reminded me about it every year. Remember when we played this and you called me old?
I do too. Yeah. So our next question is, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Ooh, girl. I've been thinking a lot about this. A lot of anxiety. I don't know. Employed, hopefully. After all these years of school, I hope to have a job, and not just a job, but like, you know, a career, something that makes me happy, not something where I'm like dreading going to work every day. I'm thinking maybe I would like to be living back in California for a little while.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to be in California permanently, I don't think. But I think for maybe just a few years, I would like to start out my career. I think I would like to be there. 5 years from now, how old will I be? I will be, can't do math. Ooh, 32. So maybe I would like a child. Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess not in addition to a career, like have I have a ton of like entrepreneurial ideas and things like that. So I maybe would like to have one of those kicked off and, you know, running fairly smoothly by then too. Yeah. What about you?
Okay. I'd like to be employed too, as well. Hopefully, like, God, I finished my PhD. I mean, I should.
You
then.
will finish.
But
what?
if I set that,
If
I set that goal and it happens, then it makes me feel really accomplished.
Okay. Yeah.
So have my PhD, have a job that I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to have a second child by then, because I'll be like, I have to do math too. I think I'll be like 34. I'd like to have started writing a book. And not an academic book, but like a book that, you know, I feel like I'm going to be writing a book for a really long time. And then, you know, like do a Solange where she was like, I've been working on this album for years and years and years. And it finally came together. I want to pull a Solange and like, you know, after 7 years be like, this is my word.
That's a good one. Actually, I think I'm going to put, I have that on my vision board. Yes, I hope that happens. Definitely with my dissertation, that is a goal. At least, at the very least. So hopefully that doesn't take 5 years to do, though. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Okay, so question 4. What's one thing that most people don't know about you?
That I didn't know how to, well, I guess I didn't know how to drive till I was 18. Because I was my family was poor, but also, like, I was scared. I was just scared of, like, cars.
That's funny. My sister was, too. I was
and even now I'm a terrible driver, but I don't tell people. Yeah.
I've been in the car with you a few times.
I don't know. I'm terrible. Like, even now, I know I don't know rules. And so, like, sometimes I'll be like, wait, what am I supposed to do? Who goes? I'll go. Who, you know.
Yeah, you just wait to see who starts punching.
Yeah. So I think, like, what people don't know is, like, I'm a terrible driver because I didn't know how to drive till I was 18.
Okay. What's something that most people don't know about me? I think that, I don't know why the first thing that popped into my mind is that, like, I don't like chocolate. But I feel like a lot of people do know that about me.
Okay.
I'm pretty scared of the dark.
Yeah.
Like, even walking through, like, my apartment,
No, I mean, I feel that. That's scary.
Yeah, I do have to, turn on lights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And number 5, who was your very first celebrity crush?
I know, that's hard because I don't remember, like, childhood crushes. Like, the earliest I remember is, like...
I don't think I know.
Ooh, Uncle Jesse from Full House.
You know what? Okay, so Uncle Jesse was pretty fine. But I didn't realize that until I got older. When I was younger, I could not get past his obsession with his hair. Like, I was just like, so, I don't know, something about that made me uncomfortable, even as a child. Like, I was like, why is this man so... And then, you remember the episode where he had the thing that he could put over his face to like, do his hairspray?
Yeah.
I was just done with that man. I was like, what?
That's funny.
Yeah. I think mine was Justin Timberlake.
Ooh, yeah, Justin Timberlake was one.
I think I also had crushes on the whole Backstreet Boys because I was more of a Backstreet Boys fan than I was NSYNC.
Yeah.
And then actually when I moved to Compton, I became a fan of B2K. Didn't know about B2K before I came, which is pretty interesting. So like moving to Compton, I shifted from Backstreet Boys to B2K. And then I had a really big crush on Lil Fizz. Like I had like posters on my wall.
Isn't it sad to see him on Love and Hip Hop now?
Oh my god. I don't watch it, but I've heard about the drama and like I've seen it on Instagram. And
I watch it and I'm like, damn, Lil Fizz.
I'm so glad I agree with that. I had like when I was younger, I was obsessed with light skinned boys. Like obsessed. I had the biggest. I was obsessed also with Arnez from One on One. And he had blonde hair. He had blonde hair.
Yeah. Arnez was cute.
I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know, girl. Oh my god. Okay, I had too many crushes as a kid. I think that do you remember that movie Don't Look Under the Bed? On it was on Disney Channel. But that kid, whoever I don't know his name. Yeah, I don't know his name, but he was okay, anyways. Alright, question 6. What television show are you most embarrassed to admit you binge watch?
There's so many. I watch all the Love and Hip Hops. I watch all the Real Housewives. I watch My 600-Pound Life. I love that show. I watch all the Little Women shows. Little Women LA, Little Women Atlanta, Little Women New York, Little Women Dallas. Like,
wait, I didn't know that they had so many of those.
They're everywhere. And so I even recognize, because like the ones from Atlanta moved, some of the girls from Atlanta moved to Dallas, and then like I could follow their storyline. So I watch them a lot. I watch a lot of reality TV garbage. So although Little Women isn't garbage, I always try to make it like, but I'm learning about their experience.
You know, my mom used to do that. So my mom, when I don't remember when Keeping Up with the Kardashians came out.
Ooh, a long time ago, yeah.
But I remember, like, when I would come home from school, like college, my mom was obsessed with the Kardashians. And she used to be trying to get me to watch it all the time. And I'm like, no, like, I don't want to watch this. And she's like, you can learn so much from them. You can learn so much from them about sisterhood and all of this stuff. And then I guess was Kim Kardashian ever on Oprah?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe not. Maybe it was on, oh girl, what's her name?
Ellen?
No, black lady. She's on, she does all the celebrity drama.
Wendy Williams.
It was either Oprah or Wendy Williams, but I'm leaning toward Wendy Williams.
Makes more sense. Wendy Williams makes more sense.
But I remember Kim had, so my mom's really anti-tattoos, right? And so whoever the host was, Oprah or Wendy Williams, asked Kim Kardashian, like, why she didn't have any tattoos. And Kim was like, have you ever seen a bumper sticker on a Bentley? And my mom was obsessed with this quote. It was like, you can learn so much from this woman, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, there are also tons of things that I'm sure you wouldn't want me to learn.
Yeah, and you can learn that from someone else.
Yeah. But so I don't binge watch a whole lot of shows now because I'm pretty, I don't know. If anybody watching this has show recommendations, please send them because I'm kind of stuck. I'm not big on reality TV, but one show that I did binge watch from like start to finish in like a few weeks and was obsessed with was Desperate Housewives. But like the show.
I never finished it.
Oh my god, it was so good, and I was so happy because that was a show that actually ended. Like it had an episode that was the ending. And that's till this day is still one of like my favorite shows.
Huh? I would never guess that. I've never finished watching it.
It's so good, and I like a lot of generally I like shows like that are pretty dramatic, and so I've also been previously like really obsessed with Vampire Diaries and stuff like that. That people probably wouldn't guess. But I would be into that. Yeah. Okay, so question 7. What do you regret most in your life?
I regret going to a private undergraduate. Like getting my undergraduate degree at a private school. I wish I would have gone to the public state school, or I actually only applied to one school because I didn't really think that much about college. So if I could go back, I would have applied to more schools at least and gone to a public school and saved so much money, not be in so much debt, and gotten the same experience.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's hard because I spent a lot of time similarly like thinking about college and wishing. So my parents chose what school I was going to, so I didn't get a whole lot of say. Well, I didn't get any say in it. So it wouldn't. I guess it's hard to regret because I didn't really have I didn't choose it.
Yeah.
But if they had let me, I think that I would have. Well, I don't know, because I really wanted to go to Berkeley, so I probably wouldn't have gone to an HBCU regardless. But now looking back on it, I feel like I wish that I had gone to an HBCU, and which sucks because it's like I love the experience that I had during undergrad. But I know that if I had gone to an HBCU, it would have been a complete the experience would have been so different. I mean, their networks are amazing. I met tons of people, actually in the process of doing my dissertation, met tons of people that graduated from HBCUs, and that those networks, the alumni networks, basically helped them to get their job.
Oh wow!
And I mean, it's also hella fun.
Yeah.
I also kind of wish that I had joined a Greek organization. And when I made the decision not to, I knew I'd regret it. So that's just something that I have to, swallow.
Yeah, live through your kids.
Yeah. I don't know though. Yeah.
Join one now.
Right? I know I could. It's just
no, don't join one now.
Yeah, it seems a little bit. Well, I don't want to say anything that offends anybody, but it kind of seems a little corny to me to join now after the fact.
Yeah, no, at our age. Yeah.
Okay. What is it?
So, who would be the first person you would call if you were in trouble?
Definitely my boo. Yeah, I think I would definitely call my partner. So what kind of trouble actually?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I think I would call. I mean, no, I definitely would call him. I mean, but is it life-threatening? Should I be calling 911?
No, this is not life-threatening. You, got too drunk and you're like, oh shit, I can't drive home.
Oh, yeah, I would call him. I mean, and then also it's literally all of my family is out of state. So
true.
it would be I don't know, I could call my parents and they'd be like, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd call my older sister.
Okay.
Because, I've called her about car accidents, fights, parties. No, fights with my partner.
Okay, I'm
No, fighting girls. Girls that wanted to fight me. Anytime a girl wanted to fight me, my sister was there. So that's really convenient.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a...
You guys are so little. It's so... I feel like that would be so interesting.
No, my sister's gotten into fights with guys. It's pretty great.
Really?
Yeah. She's really scary.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I call my sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what's up. Okay. What is the worst lie that you've told? This is a hard one, Zelma.
This is a hard
Because it's
one.
there's, I mean,
I know.
I don't feel like I tell white lies. That it's I don't feel like arguing about this right now, or it's just not that deep.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Even because this was my question, and I was kind of thinking what would be the worst?
Actually, you know what? I think about the fact that and I thank God that I am alive today, because as a teenager, I lied to my parents a lot about where I was going. And so I don't know, I really can't attribute it to anything other than God, because there are plenty of times where it's girl, what were you doing? And I feel like what you said about your brain not being fully developed until you're 20 is really reassuring, because I often think back, if there's such thing as different. I was reading this book recently called dark matter, so I have this in my head. But basically, if there are different realities, you know, where my life, like where I exist in, or we each exist in different universes, but had different life trajectories. Like I feel like I might be dead in one of them, or something, because I took a lot of gambles. Like, you know, after parties, riding with people that I definitely knew I shouldn't be riding with, or going to parties. Like one of the big things that my parents were really on me about not going to parties in Compton or like South Central as a teenager, just because like, I mean, they got shut up so often, so it was like, you know, like the risk. It's like, okay, yeah, I could end up going to a party that doesn't get shot up, but I could also end up at the one that does. So there were a couple that I actually did go to that were in Compton when I was exposed to.
Okay.
So I think those aren't like terrible, but they could have been.
Yeah. I mean, I feel really guilty about, like, growing up, I would blame a lot of stuff on my brother. Like, a lot of stuff I did.
Oh, you read that?
Like, if I broke shit, if I didn't do stuff, if someone ate something, because we weren't allowed to eat, you know, I loved honey buns, and my mom would buy, and being poor, you can't, like, eat all the honey buns in the house. So I would, like, wait till people were asleep, and then I'd go to the kitchen and, like, try to, like, and I would eat, like, 3 or 4, like, a lot. I'd drink all the chocolate milks, and I'd blame it on my brother.
And then what happened? He'd
Get in trouble.
And did he know that you did it?
No, but he'd be like, I promise I didn't do it, I don't know who did it. And I'd be like, yeah, you did.
Oh my gosh.
My mom would be, because my brother was bad, and so my mom would be like, and then he'd get in trouble for lying, so
he'd get in trouble twice for doing it and then for lying.
Yeah, so, like, I feel, now as an adult, I feel bad doing that.
Did you, like, come out and tell your mom?
I never did.
Tell me you should do that.
Yeah, maybe I should.
I mean, now y'all are so grown. Or you should tell him.
That's true.
Maybe I could laugh about it now.
I should. But that was wrong with me.
Yeah. That's hilarious. What is the craziest thing you've ever done? I don't really do very crazy things.
Yeah.
I'm pretty chicken. I don't know. Actually, I kind of want to say that the craziest. I mean, this is not even crazy, but like moving here.
Oh yeah, no.
Like
that's definitely. Like,
yeah, I was like, especially the way that I did it. Like I was like, I'm moving out of state. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. So I didn't even apply to any grad schools in California, or even like this was the closest to California that I applied. The closest school to California that I applied to. And I think it was like it was definitely like a rebellion kind of thing. I mean, it worked out because, you know, we're in a great program and all this stuff, and I met awesome people, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I think I was just, like, I'm going to be here by myself. I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
Actually, but then after I had already decided to come here, I found out that my cousin was coming here for residency also. So then it doubly worked out, because then I did know somebody here. But when I made the decision, I didn't. I was just like, I'm going.
Yeah.
Getting out of California.
Yeah. And I think for me, looking back, it's like applying to a PhD program. Mm-hmm. Because at that point, I didn't know if I would get funding. Mm-hmm. So I was just kind of like, I'm going to get a PhD, even if it costs a lot of money. Mm-hmm. I hope it doesn't. But I'm going to spend the next 5 or more years in school. Mm-hmm. And so, especially people who grow up poor, to tell people, oh yeah, I'm not going to work for 5 more years, and I'm not going to make a lot of money, and I'm probably going to get into debt, is really like, are you sure? Like, what is this payoff? And so I think for me, like, that was, because at the time, I just remember it being like, oh my gosh, because I actually worked after I did my undergrad, and so to not get a job, to lose the benefits, the job security for what I did at my master's, which was I got $1,000 a month. Like, that's it. Like, I just didn't pay my tuition, but I got $1,000. And so
you were living off $1,000.
Yeah, I was living off $1,000, and then to think, oh well, I'm gonna extend this 5 more years.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Number 11. What is the silliest thing you remember being afraid of as a child? So, actually, actually, there were a few things. So my cousin and I, my cousin's the same age. Our uncles used to like just make up, stuff to scare us. So one uncle actually, and I don't know how he did this, but we were at Chuck E. Cheese, and somehow he got the Chucky head.
Ooh, that's scary.
No,
that's scary.
Even now. But he got the Chucky head, and he's like chasing us around with just the head and like not the body. So we were like,
how did he get that?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he probably went through a lot to be able to carry out this whatever this is called. But yeah, so it was just the head, and he's chasing us around, and we're like 4 or 5. It's like, I don't know. We probably really thought Chuck E. Cheese was like a real mouse. So to see him with just a head, it was like,
yeah.
And then my other uncle, he used to. So my grandma's house had it was weird. Like she had a hallway, and the hallway had a door, and behind the door, so the door was always open. Behind the door was another door. And actually, to this day, I don't know what's in there. But my uncle used to tell me and my cousin that a genie lived in the attic. In that, he was in that door. And so we used to, he would, somehow, make noises or something like that. And we would be looking like, oh, my God. He'd be like, if you're not good, the genie's going to come and get you. He had some wishes.
That's
he
a
could
good
wish.
Genies.
He could wish that the genie come and take us away. So it was like we gotta be on our best behavior kind of thing. So yeah, Chuck E. Cheese head and genie in the attic.
I think for me I was convinced that my dolls were alive, but not in a oh yay, but in a
Chucky.
kind of a. So I would remember speaking out loud and being like, I love my dolls, because I would think that they're hearing me. And then I would have them take turns sleeping with me on the bed.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, they're going to get mad.
Yeah.
And I just remember being really stressed out about oh gosh, are they happy? Are they okay? Are they facing the right way? Are they going to face, because I thought that they were alive and they were going to hurt me if they weren't happy.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do those dolls as a kid. I couldn't. My mom actually, I don't remember how old I was, but she bought me one of those life-size dolls. The ones that you can feed it and all that stuff. Got rid of that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
That would be scary.
And I used to turn my I was never a stuffed animals person either because I was so creeped out about it. I used to turn their backs to me so that I didn't have to look at their eyes. They were so beady, and then sometimes it would catch if it was dark but you had the TV on, it would catch a little bit of the light. And no, it was a wrap for me. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 12. What did you do to aggravate your parents most as a kid? Or I guess I should say, what did you do as a kid that aggravated your parents most?
This is really fucked up, but I used to speak in English to my mom. I know.
Because you were upset or irritated?
Yeah, because I was mad and I knew she wouldn't understand me. And so I would just
You would say crazy things?
Well, I would just speak to her because I'd be really mad and I knew she couldn't say anything and she didn't know what I was saying. And
what would she say?
Nothing. And then my brothers and I would to mess with my mom, we would speak with each other and say stuff about my mom, and she didn't know what we were saying.
Oh my gosh.
But she learned English, and now but now it's the same through text. We have a group chat, and I keep forgetting don't text in English in the group chat because my mom will sometimes not know what's happening, and she's like, "What's legit? What does that mean? Legit? What do you mean?" And I was like, "Oh," because my sister will say "Oh, that's legit," and my mom was like, "¿Qué es eso?" And I'm like, "Oh, legit." And then how do you translate legit? So
yeah, I don't know.
It's that's I still do a little bit of that now, but I intentionally did it as a kid.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. Going back, I was a bad kid.
I was pretty. I
was mean.
Yeah. What did I do that aggravated them most? What's crazy is I feel most of the stuff that I did that would have aggravated my parents, they didn't know about.
Oh.
So, a lot of the stuff, so hopefully they're not listening to this. I mean, even if they are, I'm grown up, so it's
and they're in California.
Yeah, and it's I turned out okay, so
that's true.
Not that bad. So when I was really little, and I don't necessarily remember doing this, but my mom told me I did this. So apparently when I was really little, I don't know what this says about me as a person, actually. Maybe before school, I used to go to this day camp, and apparently my mom would, so I was 4, and my mom would take my clothes that I grew out of and put them in the garage or something. And I guess there were or put them somewhere, and I guess there were certain clothes that, like, I was still attached to. So she would get me dressed in my clothes that fit a 4-year-old, and I would sneak other outfits in my backpack for me and my cousin, so the cousin that I was talking about earlier, and take them with me to day camp, and then have me and her change. And we would have, like, my mom said that they would be, like, crop tops, like, booty shorts.
Oh
I don't know what, yeah, so I'm like, I don't know what that says about me, but I guess that aggravated her. And
That's
then,
hilarious.
yeah, I used to, okay, so I was really, like, manipulative as a child. Not in, like, a terrible way, but just, like, I knew what I wanted, and I knew what my parents would say no to. And so I used to, like, my mom didn't like me spending the night places, like, anywhere, really. And I used to want to spend the night at my cousin's house, or, like, at my grandma's house, and then we would spend the night together. And my cousin lived in a city that was maybe 25 minutes from where I lived. So when we would spend the weekends at my grandma's house, or we would go there for, like, a, barbecue or something like that, I would want to spend the night. So I knew that my mom would tell me no. But I would pack a bag anyways and just keep it in the car. And then I would tell my cousin to ask my mom and my dad while they were, like, together, so that my mom would feel pressured to say yes. A lot of the time she didn't, but sometimes she did. So I would, like, try to, I would be thinking so deep about, like, okay, how can I get this? Like, how can I make this work? And I think that, like, that carried on for a while, like, until I was a teenager. Like, I would do little things like that. And so, yeah, I know me being kind of, like, manipulative definitely aggravated at least my mom. I don't think my dad really cared about it, but yeah. Okay, so question 13. One gotta go. Obama, Bernie Sanders, Angela Rye.
I mean, I'm only gonna say Bernie because he's, like, almost gonna go.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, it's no, but in a peaceful way, not in like a I want him to die.
Actually, I wrote this question. I don't even know what "gotta go" means. Gotta go, like, die?
Oh.
Wait, did I mean that?
Oh, is it fucked up? I interpreted it that way. I think that's.
Oh my gosh, maybe I did mean that. I think one has to die.
I mean, where else would they go?
Maybe they just.
Because I don't want to kill Obama. I don't want to kill Angela Rye because she's young. And Bernie Sanders, I feel like out of all 3 of them, he can go because he's done his part. I love Bernie Sanders.
He's done his part.
But you're making me choose one.
Ooh, I actually don't know if I want to answer anymore now that they have.
You made me answer! You have to answer because I just told people
that you want to kill Bernie
Sanders.
Oh my gosh, but I love Bernie. Okay, so do you think that it is for sure that Bernie cannot be president in 2020? Like, do you think that it's for sure that people are like, Bernie's too old? Like, is he done?
I don't know. I don't think he's done.
Okay, if he's not done, I might have to say Obama.
Whoa.
I know, that's so bad. I mean, granted, in real life, right, I love all of them. But Obama, like, if Bernie can still do things, then I'm going to keep him. Obama has already been president.
Are you going to take him away from Michelle and Malia and Sasha?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Does Bernie have kids?
Yeah, but they're old. No, they're, like, old.
His
kids? Yeah.
60? How old is Bernie Sanders?
Oh, I don't know.
I know he's super old.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe...
I think they're, like,
if I know for a fact that Bernie Sanders is not going to try to run for president and that he's kind of done, then I'll get rid of him. Otherwise, I might have to do Obama just because I feel like Angela Rye has, I mean, her future is about to be crazy.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. She's
I got her.
yeah.
And I love her. Like, she's
never
been on CNN. Like,
yes. Yeah.
Okay, 14. What's your favorite comfort food?
Tacos.
I'd have to say tacos too.
Right? Oh, so good.
My perfect meal is tacos with a side of mac and cheese and yams, which is kind of like weird, but yes.
No, I hadn't thought of that, but that's good.
That was the fastest question, actually.
I know.
All right. 15. What is your most memorable college experience? okay, so it wasn't college experience. So it was my whole second year of college was pretty lit. Like I lived in an apartment with 5 other girls.
I've done that.
Yeah, it was a 3-bedroom apartment, 2 to a room, like ridiculously expensive. We each paid $750.
What? I paid $250 for
And
mine.
$250.
Mm-hmm.
And $850 if you had to park your car. So I was paying $850 a month. Yeah, it was crazy. But
by yourself.
that year was lit. Yeah. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like that was popping. Yeah.
I think mine was living with different people. So I lived with my, I have friends now that I was roommates with in the dorm, and then I moved out of the dorm. I moved with other people. Then I moved in a house with like 5 girls, and then I lived by myself, and then lived by my sister. So just the experience of living with different people, like on my own during college, was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
College was really fun. I can't believe that. Not only did college go by so fast, but like I'm so far removed from college now.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I know.
Like I have been out of college for 5 years. Ugh, let's not think about it. Okay, question 16. Advice you'd give a 19-year-old version of yourself.
I mean, I think if I could go back, I'd go to law school.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I'd be a lawyer. Like a human rights lawyer, or I'm glad it turned out this way. I'm getting a PhD, I'll be a doctor, but I just feel like I was meant to be more with people, like in the field with people, as opposed to just like teaching people.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe I'll look back in 20 years and be like, oh yeah, teaching people was really great. Mm-hmm. But as someone who was a caseworker and like worked in the field with people, just like being there from beginning to end and watching something be resolved is really satisfying, and you feel really good. And so at 19, I taught myself, like, apply to law school. Mm-hmm. Maybe, that you will like it and see what happens from there.
Yeah. I think, okay, so 2 things. One, I think I would have told myself to put myself out there more on social media.
Oh.
And, because I've always I used to want to be a journalist and be like some kind of social or political commentator. And I think that, social media has taken over the world,
Yeah.
And I didn't envision that. And I was very much of the mind that, like, I want to be a professional, and I don't want people to be able to look me up on social media and just, see all these things about me. So I didn't have a presence on social media for a really long time because of that. But now, because social media is the world, like, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Unless I was doing something crazy, which I wouldn't have been. I was just so afraid to put my political views out there and have, that get in the way of, like, grad school or a job or whatever, which, I'm hella liberal, so it wouldn't have, but, yeah. So I would have done that. I would have told myself to not get the boyfriend that I got, not get any boyfriend, to be single in college, and, that was, like,
I would have done that too.
I still kick myself over that. It's like, I was living like I was a 35-year-old married woman when I was 19.
I shouldn't have had a boyfriend, a serious boyfriend for that long.
Yeah. And I think that I would have become like a marriage counselor or something like that.
Oh, I could see you doing that.
Yeah. And I still might do that, but probably much further along in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, this question is really hard, and I don't know if I have an answer to it, but question 17 is, what is a fictional villain or antagonist that you would want to be friends with?
I used to watch a lot of soap operas, and I just remember there was one called Usurpadora, and it was about this lady who like found out that she had a twin, and she was rich, and her twin was poor, and she wanted to like go off with her like the guy she was cheating on her husband with, so she had the girl switch places with her so that she could like go to Europe and go to these parties, and she was evil. And then she like got tired. She got tired of that. She wanted to come back to her husband.
Yeah.
And so she was like, "Okay, girl, you gotta leave." And the girl was like, "But I fall in love with him." And she was like really manipulative, and I was always like, "Oh my gosh, I'd love to be her friend and like be on her good side." So that's what I would choose.
Dang, I don't even know a villain. I don't know why everything I'm thinking about is like a cartoon from
That
like,
still
the Disney Channel.
counts.
I don't know. Maybe like. No, but they're irritating. So I was gonna say. I don't know. Who are some villains? I can't even think. I don't know why I just.
Or your vampire shows, are there any villains?
Oh yeah. Okay, so I would definitely be friends with a vampire. That would be really crazy. Actually, so maybe I'd be friends with like Magneto or who? I don't know. You could literally pick any probably Marvel villain, and I would probably be friends with them if they were willing to be my friend. And
I would be
wasn't
friends
yet.
with Magneto too.
Yeah, because I feel like I tend to be, like I'm kind of a. I mean, unless I see you just like doing like people crazy dirty, I'm pretty open to being friends with most people. So as long as you're nice to me and don't mind me being nice to the person that you don't like.
Yeah. Okay.
Friends with like that have superpowers, definitely.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Okay, so question 19. What's your favorite dessert? Oh God, I have so many. Creme brulee. Oh, I actually don't like that. And I like
my
so much sugar.
Oh,
Really?
it's
Have I ever
so
had creme brulee? I'm gonna say I have.
Avocado creme brulee is
Is it?
yes.
Okay, so I love tres leches. I love arroz con leche.
Ooh, yeah.
I love cheesecake. So which means I really like dairy.
That's true. I was just saying that. Yeah.
I really like dairy.
Yeah.
I love sweet potato pie. I feel like maybe those are my top. How many do I say? Tres leches, arroz con leche, cheesecake, sweet potato pie. Yeah, I really like those four. And I mean, I generally just really like ice cream. Could I live without ice cream for the rest of my life?
Mm-mm.
No. So yeah, those are my 5. Also ice cream, like strawberry cheesecake. I'm a big like sugar person.
No, me too.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we skipped the.
I think because we talked about it. So
Yeah,
I was like,
so for those of you that are like, girl.
that are counting.
Yeah, they're like, this is not exactly 20. One of our questions was, as a person of color, is it bad to vote or support someone because of their race? And then
If you listen to the interview segment, like, we talked
decided
about it. No.
Except for me, no. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's all the time. I don't know if I've had that many. Like, if I've had the ability to vote for that many people of color, as long as I've been voting.
I mean, like homecoming queen, like all that stuff.
Okay,
I'm always
okay.
like,
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's
Rodriguez.
Yes. Check mark. Okay. Last question. Describe your dream house. Like, where is it? What does it have in it? If you can think of any details, like maybe color and stuff like that, I don't know those, but if you think of that stuff, you could say that too.
I'd like to live near my family, have a shower.
Money is not enough.
Okay. So, but I'd still live near my family. I'd have a shower and a bathtub, and I would have This is just a reflection of my poverty, because I'm like, that's all I need.
Oh, girl, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just like, as long as I have a room, a shower, and a bathtub in one bathroom, I'd be happy.
My grandma used to get IKEA and I want to say there's some it was like Sears or JCPenney's or something like that. And like the Home and Living magazine used to get delivered to her. And I don't know why, like she never ordered anything out of it. But I don't know. Okay, so my grandma, I don't know. Maybe this was her trying to inspire hope or something like that in us. Because she would have us go through the magazines and circle things that we wanted.
Aww.
I mean, we never like got them, but it was always like I was just so excited to see that like IKEA magazine come in and like be able to circle. I think it was Target too. There was some Home and Living magazine where I would just like go through and circle like decor.
Yeah,
and,
I would
like,
pretend to shop
furniture.
things,
Yeah. So okay, so I want definitely like wood floors.
Ooh.
And like real wood floors.
Easy to clean.
Yeah. I would like like a standalone tub, but the kind that's like
yes.
What are those like?
No, I know what you're talking about.
Just,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I forgot what it's called, but
yes,
like those old fashioned ones.
I want one of those.
Yeah. And yes, a really big stand up shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kind with like multiple like
have a bench in it.
Yeah. I want definitely like his and her sinks.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ooh, I would love for it to be like to have a view, but not like I don't want a beach house. I don't want anything that like is kind of stereotypical of bougie like LA, and also because of mudslides and things like that. But I would like it to be kind of up high and have a view. What else? I don't know. I don't like the idea of like really big houses, especially because I like am so anxious and I scare easily, and so it would just make me so nervous to like have a big house. So just a few like bedrooms is fine. And what else? I feel like maybe I have that issue too because I can't.
Right? It's like we talked about in our last episode. It's like poverty. Growing up in poverty, you just really want basic shit.
Yeah, I kind of want. Oh, I wanted to have a pool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh yeah. A pool would be and a hot tub.
Yeah,
a pool and a hot tub would be nice.
And maybe like a gazebo type thing. Is that what it's called?
The outside?
Where it's outside like the backyard thing and something like that. In like a big backyard.
Yeah, a big backyard would be nice so that my dogs could have space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean mostly just the bathroom is the most important.
Yeah. Oh my
or
gosh.
a big closet that you can like sit in.
Yeah.
I have so much clothes.
A closet. A big closet would be amazing. Is there anything like that's kind of like ridiculous and extra that I would like in there?
And people have like theaters and bowling alleys and.
I would, if I could have but see, okay, so if you have a theater in there, but you can't get new releases, what's the benefit of that?
Point? No, I don't know why.
Maybe it's just like the screen and being able to sit back in a comfy. But like if I were somebody that for whatever reason I had access to new releases, I would totally want a theater in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I think that's about it. I'm definitely gonna think of things later.
Yeah, I know. Afterwards.
I'm sure I have these things too. Yeah, but that's all. So those are our 20 questions.
So
I hope y'all
enjoyed
getting to know us a little bit.
Yeah.
And seeing us on video.
Yes.
This is the first time that we're doing this one. We're gonna probably try to do it a few times in the future, kind of sporadically. It won't be like a super regular thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if y'all I don't know. If y'all want to write in and tell us, any answers to any of these questions that might be interesting, definitely feel free to do that. You can reach out to us on all social media platforms except for Facebook. We don't have Facebook, but Instagram, Twitter we have. We drop that information at the end of every episode. You can follow us on Twitter at Wokeish Talk. You can follow us on Instagram at wokeishpodcast.
Mm-hmm.
You can email us at woke.ishpodcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And
so send us any feedback, or if you want to use some of these questions to ask your friends and Want to let us know any of these answers, or if not, let us know if you'd like more things like this, where we just, like to take every once in a while, let you guys have a glimpse of, like, who we are as people, just so you can get a sense of, like, the type, we give you guys so much of our opinions and ideas, but, like, kind of where it comes from.
Yeah. And for any of those that's looking at me like, why do you have on this flag shirt? It says hindsight 2020.
And we're gonna do. Is this one of your shirts?
Yes, it is. So I actually wasn't gonna plug it, but yeah, I mean I can. So it's so I make shirts, and it's my thing is called my brand, whatever. It's called Public Village. And so this is from Public Village, and so yeah, this is all about canceling 45. So with that, talk to y'all next week.